Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. For those of you new, I'm Jeanette from Boricua Sewing and Crafts, and in this video we're going to be talking all about Christmas stockings because I have a bulk order of them, and there are so many different ways that you can embroider and hoop these items. So I wanted to talk to you guys a lot about them because you have different types and different textures, right? So sometimes you're going to have to figure out what is going to be the best type of embroidery design. How big can you go? How should you hoop it? There's just so much going on and so many questions. So as you can see, I have a bulk order right here. Most of them are a particular size and style. And I was going to start, but then I said, you know what? As I create and I embroider these, let me do a video of them so you can see exactly how to do them. But first, before we even start embroidering and stuff, let's have a conversation about the different types of stockings that you're going to be getting, okay, or that you can possibly get. So let me go over to the cutting table and let's talk about the different types of fabric and different styles of stockings that you have and why it's important. Okay, so the reason why it's important for us to have this conversation is because depending on the type of stockings fabric, especially the cuff, that's going to determine how you should embroider the item. Okay, now let's take a look at these three that I have here. Now these two I purchased from Walmart. Okay, very different. All right, as you can see, this is the really inexpensive one, and when I put my hand in it, I don't know if you can see it well on the camera, but you can kind of see like a little shadow, right? So these are very, very thin. So as you can see, they are big, all right? They're big, but as you can tell, the material is very, very thin, okay? Now, these are usually a lot easier to embroider because of the material's thinness. You can use any type of font that you want on this. So it makes it a little bit simple. Now, let's talk about the hooping for a little bit, okay? Let's say somebody gives me a stocking like this and they want their name. What I would do is I would use tearaway stabilizer, okay? And then let's talk about the hooping, okay? And the style of the design. You can use any style of design you want on this. You can use a thin font, you can use a thick font. You know why? Because if you look at the texture of this, you're going to see that it is smooth. You don't really have any fuzz or anything like that. So whatever you embroider on here is going to stand out. Now, because it's going to stand out, you're going to want to use a tearaway stabilizer. Or if you want, I would probably recommend doing no-show mesh, or maybe even do water-soluble stabilizer on both sides, and just spray it and stick it on there, for the simple fact that it's so thin that if you use thick stabilizer behind this, it's going to show. Okay, you're going to see the shadow, because just like you can see the shadow of my fingers running behind it, you're going to see the shadow of whatever stabilizer is left behind. So whatever stabilizer you want to use with this, make sure it's something that's going to come off in the back. All right, so when it comes to hooping these items, if I'm using a multi-needle machine, I always like to use my fast frames. Or if you have dookie frames, those work as well, okay? The reason why I prefer the fast frames is because of the thinness of the frame. As you can see, this is really, really thin, so it doesn't take up too much space. If you have a dookie frame, and I'm going to show you in a minute, dookie frames are a little bit thicker. Now, will they work? Absolutely. It's going to work. It's not a big deal, okay? But I just prefer the fast frame, okay? And my dookie frames are kind of new, and I kind of want to keep them that way. But anyway, you can use either or. It's really not a big deal, okay? So if you have these, go ahead and use them. Now, the thing is, you want to make sure that whatever hoop you use is going to fit nicely inside the stocking, okay? This might be a little big. This is a 5x4. I might need a 4x4. If I put it in here, it will fit, but you have to take into account, okay, the stretchiness, okay? You see that there's really not much space on here, as if I use a 4x4, which this is a 4x4, it has a lot more give. Okay, I'm gonna put this in here so you can see. And look, there's a lot more give in there. Okay, you need room for the arm. Okay, now the arm, the room you need for the arm will depend on the machine that you have. I have a brother, so the arm is usually 2 inches by 2 inches. If you have another type of machine, it could be smaller. Some machines have them smaller, but it's just something to think about. Okay, now what if you had a single needle machine? Okay, what would I do? Of course, I'm going to float this. But you know what is the easiest way to float it? I'm going to tell you. Take the name that you're going to embroider on it. I hope you can see. I'm going to push you back a little bit so that you can see. Now, this is one of the reasons why embroidery software is pretty important, okay? Because you want to be able to print the template of the name. This is how I recommend doing it, okay? Unless you know exactly where to embroider it on. I always like to do the template because it gives me a reassurance that it's going to come out exactly where I want it to be. Now, this template has the snowman printed on it. If I had a single needle machine, and I believe some single needle machines do have the snowman capability, but if yours does not, then you would print it without the snowman. And I'm using Embroidering software. So what's going to happen is you're going to have to cross. Okay, the middle point is that dot right here at the bottom of the snowman. That's the middle point. Okay, so what you would do is you would take this and you would tape it to your stocking. Then what you're going to do is you're going to turn the stocking inside out. Okay. When you turn the stocking inside out, okay, it's going to be easier for you to float the item, okay? Now you can take this part right here, and let's say you have your 5x7 hoop. You're going to lay it on your sticky stabilizer, or if you're using tearaway, spray it with 505 adhesive or whatever temporary adhesive spray you use. I use KK 2000, but there's so many out there. Whichever works for you. Take this, put it down, push it in. Make sure you line it up that this is the center point where you're going to start to embroider, you know, where your needle's aligned. It's not going to start. It'll probably start at the G or whatever. But you want to make sure your center is right where the center is. And then you're going to float it and you will embroider it on your single needle machine just like that. It is always easier to turn the stocking inside out. I have seen people do it where they try to take a stocking and they put the name on here, right? And then what they do is they try to do it this way. You can do it, but remember, you're going to have to really play around with this, okay? If you really think about it, to get this to really lay flat, this already has an opening. Okay, this one doesn't. All right. Well, I would have to take this out. Hold on. Because I want to show you guys that this can get a little tricky, okay? If you do it the other way. See, you're going to have to lay it like this. And then you're going to have to play with the fabric, okay? You could end up getting like a lot of mistakes and stuff like that. And it can get a little bit messy, all right? But if you do it this way, you already have it turned inside out, okay? You already have the template on here, so you know exactly where you want to embroider it. And all you got to do is lay it on and see how easy it is. While it's embroidering, you can easily just move the fabric out of the way. And you don't have to worry about embroidering one side onto the other. Okay, so if you have a single needle machine, this is the way to do it. Now, also, let's say you have something thick like this. Same thing. Let's take the template. You put it on here. Okay, turn it inside out. There you go. This is inside out. But this one kind of does it the opposite, I guess. Yeah, it does. You're going to have to do it the other way, which is a little bit kind of difficult. So what with this one, because this one's cuff doesn't fold. Okay, this didn't fold. This does. So if you have a single needle with this, okay, for a multi-needle, turn it inside out and you stick it in the arm. For a single needle, leave it the way it is. That's how I would do it. Because you want to make it as simple as possible so you don't mess up. Okay, so I'm going to turn it back. Okay. Let's put it back where it was. I hope you guys can see everything. Yeah, I think you can. I'm going to turn it right back. Okay. And there you go. So here you have this. It's going to go GG right here. Okay. I'm just going to take this, turn it like this. Okay. You're turning this inside out. That. And right here, you place it, float it, embroider it. That's how you do that. Okay? Now, let's talk about material. Okay, because I know I'm trying to give you guys scenarios on how to do all this stuff. Okay, so I'm going to turn this back out. Let me take out the GG here. And let's talk about this one right here. Okay, this is a different type of material. So let's talk about it, okay? Now, and I'm also going to talk to you guys about reverse hooping. I see some people do that, but I kind of do mine a different way because I don't like waste. You guys that have watched me for a long time know exactly that I don't like to waste stuff. Alright, so here I have my template GG, right? Now let's talk about this a little bit. This one's a little bit different, okay? Because this cuff is kind of sewn right in here. So if you wanted to turn it inside out, it's going to get a little difficult. See? It gets a little bit too tight. Alright? So there's just no way that you're going to be able to embroider this like this. Okay? So what do I do with these? Well, this cuff is really stuck to this side. Okay? So what I usually do is I embroider this whole thing. Now this is going to be very tricky on a single needle machine. I will tell you this right off the bat, okay? It's probably going to be doable, but you're going to really struggle a little bit because you want to lay this flat, right? So what's going to happen is you have this layer on top of this layer, and then the thing is you want to be able to make sure that it's aligned well. And you're probably going to have to turn it inside out. I'm going to be honest with you. I would not touch these with a single needle because it's going to get challenging. However, there is something you can do. You can unstitch it. Okay? You can unstitch this. But the way that it's stitched, looking at this, it can be a little challenging to stitch it back. Alright? So honestly, with a single needle machine, I would not touch these. You would be fine with the other two, but not these. Not if you see that it's sold like this. I don't recommend it. Okay, it's going to be really, really difficult. I wouldn't even tempt it. I would just tell the customer, nope, if I had a single needle. However, if you have a multi-needle machine, this is really simple. This would be where I would reverse hoop. Now, how do you do reverse hooping? Well, and why would I do it? Because of the thickness and the opening, it's kind of small. It's not as really big, okay? And that's another thing too about turning these inside out. If I didn't turn it inside out, okay, let's look at it, okay? If I didn't turn this inside out, right? I want you to notice something. Look at the inside. It's a lot of bulk in here. A lot of fabric, right? It's a lot of fabric. When you have the bulk in the fabric, it kind of minimizes your space in the arm. because you got all this extra fabric, right? But when you turn it inside out, it's like the space got bigger because you didn't have all this extra material from here on here. So now your arm can embroider more freely. Okay, so you have less fabric here, all right? Unfortunately, because this is stuck together with this, you're kind of stuck, okay? You can't turn this inside out, all right? Unless you decide to unsew it, all right? So you would have to use what's called reverse hooping in order to get that extra space. Now, how do I do reverse hooping? All right, I'm going to show you with another hoop here. Okay, I'm going to use the dookie frame that I have here. Okay, all right. So, reverse hooping is when you have the hoop on top of your item. And then what you're doing is you're putting sticky stabilizer on this end. And you're sticking this bottom to the top of it. So I have this stabilizer, right? So what I would do, and this is how I do it, okay? I take the template. I put it where I want it to be. Okay? Now I need the area that I'm going to embroider exposed. Okay? So I'm going to take this right here. Okay? Then what I'm going to do is I have to get my sticky stabilizer. And what I do is I place it this way. You know, of course, I take the sticky stabilizer out. Okay? This is the sticky side. And then what I do is I put it this way like this. Okay? And then I press, I put my hand in and I press on the sticky stabilizer. Okay? So I do it this way. Then I take another piece and I do it this way and this way and this way and this way and so on. Some people, what they do is they take the whole sticky stabilizer. They cover the whole thing, measure where the template is, then they take the scissor and then they cut the hole as to where it's going to embroider. The reason why I don't like that is because all that stabilizer that you cut out here, you just threw it in the garbage, right? Instead, what I do is I have pieces, small little scraps, and I can use that, put that there, okay? And then I can go ahead, cut another piece, okay? Put it here, put it here, put it here. And there is whatever I have left, I store, and then I don't have to worry about it. Now, when I go to hoop this, okay, it's going to be like this. And because the sticky stabilizer is on top, you want to make sure that you press your stuff on here. Some people, what they do is to make sure that the item doesn't shift on them, they will put pins in here. Okay? They put little pins just to hold it. But what you can do is you just keep doing this. And there's minimum waste. See? Minimum waste. And then I just take here, press my hand. That holds it. Okay? And then I stick it in the machine like that. Okay? This, I make sure it's aligned. Okay? And then I measure and I make sure that it's not going to embroider on any of my sticky stabilizer. And I will also put stabilizer here too, because you want to secure it, okay? You want to secure it as much as you possibly can. You put your hand on here and you press down on your sticky stabilizer. This will not shift, but some people do put pins just to confirm that it won't shift. Then you put this into your machine, okay, and you got yourself a little more space. Okay, that means that the arm will go right here. You don't have this on top, okay, because if you did, think about it. Take this out. Okay, you put this in here. First of all, it doesn't fit, right? See how it doesn't fit? But it's not a problem. All you got to do is take this, because you're not putting it inside. You're putting it on top. So all you got to do is put it on top. And you heard that sticky stabilizer. It stuck really well. There you go. Put where you want the name to be. And you put it in your machine. And you're good to go. Okay? And you have much more space. That's another trick. Okay? Now, let's talk a little bit about... And sometimes you'll have trouble getting some of the sticky stabilizer come off, but if you put water, it'll come off. Okay? It'll eventually come off. It's not a big deal. It's sticky stabilizer. Just pour water on it and it'll come off. I'll get that off later. My stuff. That's the only thing about the sticky stabilizer. But anyway, let's talk about this material a little more, okay? And stuff. So, as you can see, this has fluff, right? Okay? It's not smooth like this one. If you look at this one, let me turn it back inside out so you can take a look. Okay. Ooh, this one's been turned inside out so many times. Alright. Let's do a comparison now. Okay? Let me put these back really nice. Alright, let's do a comparison now. This material, there is really no fluff. It's soft, and there is a little fuzz, but it's small. It's not big. Okay? Let's look at this one. This has a lot of fluff. Okay? So if I was to go ahead and embroider like a very thin font, it's going to get buried. Okay? You're going to see it buried in here. So what do I do with these? You have two options. You use a thick font, okay? Or you add knockdown stitches to the name, okay? That knockdown stitch will put a layer of white thread. That's what I would do. And it doesn't have to be white thread. Sometimes people have fun with it and they'll do a color and then they'll put the fonts on top of the knockdown stitches on another color, okay? But I would do the white on this. And then, of course, I would do probably red fonts. Red, green, you know, the Christmas color fonts. So that's how you would do this. Okay? So, just wanted to share. All right, guys. So, guys, I think those are all the tips that I have for you. You know, embroidering stockings can be pretty tricky. Okay? They really can be, but I wanted to, you know, share with you some tips on when you get stockings to embroider, what you should look at, you know, what you should consider. So, yeah, so I'm not going to stop the video and stuff. I am going to work on these stockings and get them done. I'm going to be using different methods as I'm embroidering them, but I'm going to show you the end product of how these all came out. So I'm going to start working on them now.
My significant other is in that cave, hollering, cussing, making a fuss over the game. That's great for them, but that's not for me. Give me my crafting space, I'll live happily. If I'm crafting, don't come knocking, that's my rule. I only cut once, not twice, don't make me lose my cool. You got your space, mine keeps you safe from me. Loving my craft room, no other place I'd rather be. You say I got too much crafting stuff. If you were into crafting, you know it's never enough. A room full of color, everything in its place. My worries melt away with all the things that I make. If I'm crafting, don't come knocking, that's my rule. I only cut once, not twice, don't make me lose my cool. You got your space, mine keeps you safe from me. Loving my craft room, no other place I'd rather be. Some folks say it's too much time spent in my space. I say it's my heaven, it brings a smile to my face. New skills learned and all challenges met. In my space, time well spent crafting without regrets. If I'm crafting, don't come knocking, that's my rule. I only cut once, not twice, don't make me lose my cool. You got your space, mine keeps you safe from me. Loving my craft room, no other place I'd rather be. A room full of crafts, feeling my best. Life is great, and crafting without regrets. If I'm crafting, don't come knocking, that's my rule. I only cut once, not twice, don't make me lose my cool. You got your space, mine keeps you safe from me. Loving my craft room, no other place I'd rather be.
One's done. Okay, let's take it to the cutting table and take a look at how it looks. Alright guys, here we are, and we are with the stocking. Let's take all this stuff out. Okay, there you go. Don't need this right now. Alright, let's turn it inside out. Let's take a look at the end product. Turn it inside out here. And here we go. And just, there you go. Gigi. So this one is done. So now I'm just going to go ahead. Just got a jump stitch there. Jump stitch there. There you go. And finish the rest of them. That's all I gotta do. So, alright, so guys, I will show you at the end how they all look. Okay guys, this is the last one of the stack. I have finished all of these. As you can see, these were just extras that I bought just in case I messed up, and the customer told me that she wants to buy them from me. They're blanks. I didn't embroider those over there. These are just 2 extras. I bought 2 just in case I messed up. They're like $15 from Target. So these are all of them, and this is the actual last one, and this one says Papa. So I am going to take this out of here. Okay. Turn this inside out. Put these aside because now let's clean this up here. Nice and paw. There we go. Nice. Nice. Came out cute, right? Okay, so here we go. Let's take a look at all of them. I think they came out really cute. We got Snuggles. We got Pawpaw. We got Gaga. But these are all only 3 in red. So let me spread them out so that way we can take a look at how they all came out. The whole group, okay? Take them all out here. So we got Gigi. We got Lala. We got Eva. And we got Gray. Okay? And we also have Grandma. We got Kim. We got Mama. And then here we got Gaga. Okay? And then we got Pawpaw. And we got Snuggles. Alright, so these are all of them. Okay, so I'm going to lift you up so that you guys can see what they all look like. Aren't these adorable? They came out really nice. I know the customer's going to like them. And yeah, these are the stockings, guys. These are stockings that she got from Target. They're about like $15 each. So, you know, aren't they cute? Look at that. Gigi, Lala, Grandma's in there. Kim, Gaga, Paw, Snuggles. The whole family. There you go. Everybody's there. So isn't that cool? This is pretty neat. I like the way this came out. I know the customer is going to be really happy. The way I hooped these was the method where I turned this one inside out. And then I went and I just used a fast frame with the sticky stabilizer. And I showed you guys how you guys can do this on the single needle too. So guys, I hope you found this video helpful. I mean, you're going to be, you know, a lot of folks love to have their stockings, you know, embroidered. It really is nice. What I really like about it too is that, you know, it's something you can use every year, reuse them and stuff. And it's really special, you know, when you see the stockings hung with everybody's name on it and stuff like that. So you may end up getting a lot of people, if you're into doing embroidery for a business, you're going to get a lot of people going to ask you to do these things. So, you know, hope you found this video helpful. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing because it really does help the channel a lot, along with a thumbs up. And if you aren't doing anything Friday evenings at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, you are welcome to hang out with me. I do Embroidery Happy Hour live at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time every Friday. So I will talk to you guys later. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And happy sewing and happy embroidering. Bye.